Alright, this is my second attempt at making this video, so I'm already running out of patience. I'm just going to try to make a complicated topic as simple as I can, but let's just be frank, it's not going to be simple. You have a 5th gen Maxima that is in safe mode and it's throwing low 1000 penny codes at you. It's throwing low 1100, low 1200 penny codes, and you don't know why you've replaced your pedal and now it's telling you throttle body, or you replaced your throttle body and now it's telling you the pedal, and then it's telling you have a mass airflow sensor. Why is it not taking my car out of safe mode? You've tried the pedal dance, it's not working. Side note, the pedal dance isn't going to fix your problem until the car is already running, but that's another issue. I'm noticing a lot of people think that they have throttle body issues or low voltage values and that they're going to do the pedal dance and it's going to fix itself. That's not how it works. The power supply that comes out of the ECU powers multiple systems. You have the ECU or ECM, depending on your region, whatever control module or unit, but the ECM powers the throttle position sensor, it powers the throttle body, it powers the mass airflow sensor, and it all comes out either 5 volts or 2.5 volts. It's kind of a redundant system. It doesn't have one set of sensors and everything. It has a 2 set of sensors and everything, and it runs 5 volts and 2 volts into the pedal, into the throttle body. I think it just runs 5 volts into the mass airflow, but I could be wrong. Either way, that wire does a big old loop through all these systems. So if the pedal acts up, it could tell you throttle body. If the throttle body acts up, it could tell you the pedal. Why? Because that power, that 101 pin that comes out of the ECU, powers all those systems. Here's the ECM. There's a bunch of pins that run all the way around here. So you have to ignore this. This is a very deceptive diagram in all of them because they expect you to know to just ignore this huge row of pins that runs all the way around. But either way, this 101 right here and 102, there's your 5 volts, and there's your 2.5. Like I said, they run through all those systems and then back into boom, 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 boom. I think 73 is your pedal, 74 is the low voltage, 73 is the high voltage, the 5 and the 2.5. But either way, so I digress. So if you go to, let me find my pedal here. I am not editing this, so you're going to have to deal with a bunch of blurriness, jump cuts, and whatever. This is your pedal. The newer ones want you to buy the whole assembly, but believe it or not, you can just buy that module that's on the side of the pedal. This is like it goes down here and the pedal's down here, and if you look up underneath the dash, you will see this 6-pin connector that plugs right into the top of that, and it's got a little thing on it that actuates. Right here, you see your connector right here. This is your connector, 10 little tabs on the top. Your 4 and your 6 are your power in. Your 1 and your 3 are your values out. So 4 is going to have either 2.5 or 5, and 6 is either going to have 2.5 and 5. I'm not sure which one they are yet. Either way, if you got 4, at 4 you got 2.5 or 5, and at 6 you got 2.5 or 5, you already know you don't need an ECU. Your ECU, you know if you have that power at 4 and 6, that it's supplying power to your throttle body, it's supplying power to your mass airflow sensor, it's powering everything. So that right there is a huge sign when it comes to not needing to replace the ECU. Just above this is, like I said, it's a redundant system, so they have dual sensors and everything. So you're going to have 2.5, and just above that, at resting, you're going to have about a 0.5 volt. At 6, you're going to have, 5 volts. Just above that, you're going to have about 5 volts. I had to get these things right here. And what I did is I clamped them on there because the ignition's got to be on, not running, but the ignition's got to be on, and all these things have to be plugged in. So what I had to do is I had to find the wires coming out of the back, 4 and 1 and 6 and 3, and run little pigtails down so I could actually have access, make my life a little bit easier. Around about a foot-long piece of wire down so I could test them. Because like I said, just because you get power to these systems does not mean that the part's still not fucked. You know, like just because you got 2.5 and 5 volts here doesn't mean the pedal's not good. So you actually have to check the values coming through the pedal. Values coming through the pedal, again, it gets a little complicated because when that pedal's at rest, so number 2, sensor 2, you're going to have 2.5 volts, and that 2.5 is going to have the 2.5 volts saying here that it's 0. It's not true. That's not right. Where is it at? Let me find you. Like I said, I'm not editing this, so you're going to have to deal with it. All right. When the pedal is fully released, you can see accelerator sensor 1, 73. Like I said, that 73 is where it is on the ECU. Ignore that. That'll just confuse you. But the sensor 1 coming out, like I said, about 0.5 volt. Sensor 2 coming out, again, about 0.5 volt. Like it's got to be just under 0.5 volt, and this is just got to be in the neighborhood of 0.5 volt. If any of these values coming out of the pedal are incorrect, like let's say you're only getting, see for me, I was getting the 0.8 here, I was sitting at about, you know, 1/10, like that was good. But this second one was showing the same voltage as the first one, or the second sensor. So I was getting like 1/10 of a volt out of each one of them. Well, that's well below 0.5 volt, in the neighborhood of 0.5 volt. Sent the car into safe mode. And keep in mind, I was pulling 1/10 of a volt out of each one of these. The car was in safe mode. It was telling me I needed a mass airflow sensor. It was telling me I needed a throttle body. It was telling me everything that was tied to that 101 pin. It was telling me I needed to replace. I mean, shit, the blue book on the car is only a couple $1,000. It's telling me to replace a couple $1,000 worth of parts. So, like I said, this is your pedal. One is going to, both going through, so you're going to have your 4 and your 6, 2.5, 5, and you're supposed to, just above it, you're going to have your 0.5 volt coming through either side. If your values are correct coming through the pedal, then you move on to your throttle body. Like I said, this 2.5 and 5 volts runs through this pedal, and the very next stop is the throttle body. The throttle body has its own set of values. So, you know, there's your 2.5 and there's your 5. And as you press and as you push the thing forward, you're going to notice at your connector that your values are going to change. Again, the values have to be correct at the throttle body, in the resting position and in the full throttle position. If the values aren't correct at the throttle body, again, it'll go into safe mode, and you'll be and it'll throw the pedal at you. It'll throw the mass airflow sensor, and you're not sure. And here's the diagram. As you open the sensor, the values, the voltage is supposed to grow out of each one of them. I don't know how to simplify it any more than that, other than once you've done this, once you familiarize yourself with the system, it does get a little bit simpler. But just know that if you're having the car in safe mode and it's throwing these penny codes at you, that it's that 101 pin running out of the ECM, and it does that big power loop. And if anything in that line, in the APP sensor, the mass airflow sensor, or throttle body is disrupted, that it's going to put the car in the safe mode and could potentially throw all these different codes at you. If anybody has any further questions, I will also note. Oh, let me note this before I cut this thing out. If the values aren't correct at the pedal, you'll notice that the pedal has a slight adjustment in it. I don't know, I did note it at one point, but I don't know what I did with it. You'll notice that if the values are a little funky at the pedal, the APP sensor on the throttle, and on the throttle pedal, you'll notice that it's slightly adjustable. There's 2 Phillips head screws on it. Yeah, you'll notice that right here, and on the other side of it, they're this whole module kind of like can spin a little bit. So you can loosen that Phillips and the Phillips on the back side of it and twist that whole thing a little bit, and it might bring your values back into the correct range if it's your pedal. If it's your throttle body, well, you're kind of screwed with your throttle body, because the throttle body, before 02, the throttle bodies were throttle position sensors were adjustable, but after 02, 5th gen, it's not. If your values coming out of the throttle body aren't correct, you're kind of screwed. You got to get a new. But here is the values for the throttle or the APP sensor, and the values for your throttle body are right here. So if you leave a comment you're having issues with your 5th gen Maxima 02 to like 011, I'm more than willing to help you out. Leave something in the comments and I will do my best to try to sort you out. Alright guys, see you.